Hello, welcome into this edition of PPP. I'm your host, Presley. Thanks for joining me for the periodic performance post, and in case you were wondering, yes, that is a tent set up in my backyard. But more importantly, this go around, we actually have a sponsor for the show. So in case you were wondering what cereal I eat, let me just explain it to you. This show is brought to you by Melville's Fruit Rounds. Look, are you desiring that Fruit Loops taste, but you hate paying the Fruit Loops price? Head on over to Aldi. Look in the cereal section and get Melville's Fruit Rounds. Taste the same, but pay less. Well, we do heartily welcome you into this edition of PPP. Thanks for joining us. We have a star-studded show for you today, so you're not going to want to miss any second of it. That's right, I said star-studded, so stick around and see who all has been invited to join the show this afternoon. Before we get into the fun statistics of our league so far, let's visit with our first celebrity. Earlier this week, I was able to mosey on down to the Cowboys locker room, and I was able to catch Mr. Tony Romo getting out of the shower, and I was able to ask him a few questions. Let's go take a look and see how everything went. My first question that I asked him was, "Hey Tony, how is your body feeling right now?" Doing pretty good. Just ready to play some football, Yeah, doing good, yeah. Just ready to play some football. After that, I was able to ask him a little bit about the team, how they think they're doing so far. Tony, what are your thoughts on the team so far? Yeah, I think the football team's doing pretty good. I think they just need to execute, all three phases. Just need to go out there and execute a football. Good point, Tony, thanks. And last, I was able to ask him, hey, whenever you come back to the team, what do you expect to do? Same thing, just need to go out there and execute while we're playing football, Looking forward to it. Looking forward to playing some football, and we need to execute in all three phases, Looking forward to playing some football. Hey, thanks again, Tony, for the great interview getting out of the shower. Cowboys fans everywhere, I look forward to having him back on the field soon. All right, before we get into our league stats real quick, I want to bring in our next celebrity. They were unable to make it into the studio this afternoon, so we do have them on a phone interview. Nonetheless, we'll look forward to having their presence with us over the phone. Joining us on the phone right now to talk about who knows what is Matt Chandler. Matt, can you hear me? Can you hear me okay?
I'm doing well. I'm looking forward to this show.
Ooh, great. That sounds good. Also joining him on the phone, while they're joining me on the phone, is Josh Patterson. So we have Matt and Josh. Josh, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, I'm glad to do this with you, as always.
You know what, Matt, just real quick, are you excited to talk about, the Fantasy League? Are you excited to be here and talk with me this afternoon?
Faith, Easter, internship. I don't know what other good thing you could put in this show.
What?
Faith, Easter, internship. I don't know what other good thing you could put in this show.
Matt, we are literally talking about none of those things. What do you expect to do on this show?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I plan on making fun of you often and exposing faulty reason.
All right. Well, maybe we can just dismiss Matt here. How about Josh? Josh, you're a sports fan, aren't you?
I am unashamedly a sports fan. I grew up a sports fan. Sports was a big part of my family growing up. I grew up in Dallas, so I'm a Dallas sports fan. I love the Mavericks, I love the Rangers, I love the Stars, and I love the Dallas Cowboys. I have my entire life. I respect you if you grew up in another city and you're a fan of the teams of that city. I'm not quite sure what to do with people that are fans of teams.
Yeah, just real quick. It was a fascinating Super Bowl this past February. What did you think about the Super Bowl?
What was the most watched Super Bowl in history, and what was maybe one of the most epic endings or collapses, depending on how you.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh, well, I guess we lost them. Sprint provider, perhaps that's the issue. I don't know. But they're gone now, but we were able to at least to talk to Josh a little bit. Matt was rather crass towards me, but to each his own. So let's move on here to the Fantasy League stats. Got a lot of interesting things going on right now. This far into the season, there are only 2 teams that are undefeated. Sucket Trebek is 1. And the Purple People Eaters are 2. So those are the only 2 teams that are undefeated. And lo and behold, they are facing each other this week, so that should be a lot of fun to see. Purple People Eaters are a fascinating study because they went 2-0. They're now 3-0, but they went 2-0 without their first 2 draft picks. Le'Veon Bell and Jordy Nelson were out the first 2 weeks. They didn't let them hold them back. They still pushed forward, got their 2 victories, and smashed my face in this past week for the 3rd victory, so they're 3-0. Sucket Trebek, a.k.a. Ragonk, a.k.a. R-Squared, a.k.a. Reese Rogers, favored in this game this week by 9 points, so we'll want to keep an eye on that. It should be a battle of heavyweights this week, so good luck to both of them. On the reverse side, there's actually only 1 team that is winless. This guy. I don't know what I need to do, but I haven't won a game yet, so I think winning a game would be where to start. I've played the only 2 undefeated teams so far, so it cut me a little bit of a break there. 2 out of the 3 losses that I have sustained have been from the 2 undefeated teams, so we'll look forward to brighter days in my future. I have scored the least amount of points in 2 out of the 3 weeks, and it wasn't really close. 2 out of the 3 weeks, I was the biggest loser. I don't mean that in weight. I mean that the guy that beat me, it was the biggest margin of victory than all the other teams combined. I'm not sure if I put that correct, but you get what I'm trying to say there. On draft day, I was projected to go 3-10. I've lost 3 games in a row now, but for some reason, Yahoo is projecting me to go 6-7 and still make the playoffs. So, we'll see what happens there. Quick rundown. This is something that I thought was fascinating. 3 of the running backs that I have started all 3 weeks, so I'm starting 2 running backs and then 1 running back in the flex position, C.J. Anderson, Eddie Lacy, and Lamar Miller. Those 3 people combined, those 3 running backs combined so far have gotten me 63 points between those 3. Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, and Larry Oldman Fitzgerald all have more than 63 points by themselves up to this point. So clearly I need to make some changes. We'll see what happens moving forward. Beast Mode Activate, Chris, making it on strong. He has the most points in the league. Fascinating tidbit, he has the most trade / waiver wire / free agency signings. So in other words, he's made the most moves out of everyone else in the league, but he has the most points in the league. Second most is Dave with 27, so he's considerably higher than all the other players in the league, but he's made the most moves, and so it's a fascinating study. This team sucks is the only team to make no moves. In other words, he's not made any trades, waiver wire pickups. He has not signed any free agents, nothing. He's 2-1, so he's off to a pretty good start. Only team to make no moves at all. Interesting. Injury prone. I think we should all have a quick moment for injury prone. His team is rightfully named. He too, like Purple People Eaters, has lost his first 2 draft picks. So we'll monitor that going forward. I really, really hope he sucks this week because I'm playing him and I desperately need that win. So, injury prone, thoughts and prayers are with you and your team, except for this week. I hope you do not do good, and I hope that I, in return, do good. Okay, let's look at the league as a whole. This league has not done 1 trade. We're 4 weeks into it coming up. We drafted a couple weeks. So this league as an entire whole has not even made 1 trade. There's an estimated 2.6 million leagues, fantasy leagues in the U.S. alone. About 7% of the 2.6 million has not made trades. So kudos to this league for bucking against the grain and being part of that 7%. We're not going with the flow. We're going with that 7%, haven't made a trade yet. With that being said, we need some trades. Let's make some trades, have some fun the rest of the year. We'll look forward to it. I say, Coach Gruden, if you had to pick a favorite competitor in the entire National Football League, who would you say is your favorite?
I tell you what, man, I really love this kid, Teddy Bridgewater, man. Guy can really spin the ball, can heave it downfield, man. He got all day in the backfield with him. Teddy Bridgewater's a pretty good player, man.
I say, what a charming response. I must say Theodore Bridgewater is quite attractive as a football player. If you had to pick a team in the Fantasy Home Group League that has impressed you the most so far, who would you say it is?
I tell you what, man, this Beast Mode Activate, man, I tell you what, he's a pretty good team, man. They got a pretty good squad, man. I haven't seen this many points since the last time I played Pac-Man, man.
Ah, cheerio. What a splendid answer. Yes, Beast Mode Activate has rather turned some heads this season, hasn't he? And on the reverse side of the coin, who would you say has disappointed you the most so far?
I tell you what, man, the Blood Moons are in a little bit of trouble here, man. I tell you what, man, they lose on a weekend when there's actually a blood moon in the sky, man. I tell you what, big disappointment this year for the Blood Moons.
Yes, I must say the Blood Moons have been rather a disappointing team so far, haven't they? Yes, an embarrassment to the entire Home Group Fantasy League, I must say. One more question, Coach. If I may, who, if you had to pick 2 teams right this very second to be in the title game for the Home Group Fantasy League, what 2 teams might you pick?
I tell you what, man, I really love Kickerless, man. I tell you what, I think they'll make it to the championship game. I also like the other Kickers team. I'll tell you what, man. Kickers Kill Me and Kickerless. There's your 2 championship teams right there, man.